Hello, and welcome to another episode of XenoChat. I am one of the hosts, Tyler, along with Justin.
Hey, everyone.
Alright, we got a few guests with us today. First up, we have Chris.
Hi.
We have Mary.
Hello.
And we have Kat.
Howdy.
Alright, so we're gonna dive into a topic that comes up now and then within the overall Xeno franchise, as it were, and that is the Uzuki Trope.
Uzuki!
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 If you're like more into the Xenoblade games and don't know much about prior like Xenogears and Xenosaga, you might not be too familiar with this concept, but we're gonna kind of go over it and kind of see what characters we assign to this attribute.
Yeah. So, long story short, there's a certain set of traits that we notice some similarities between certain characters, and we're going to call that an Uzuki Trope, right? This isn't an official term or anything. It's more like, okay, we notice patterns with the kind of characters that appear in some of these games. So we're just looking at a few of these guys and seeing what's similar, what's different about them.
Exactly. So I guess we'll start off by defining what makes someone an Uzuki. So we kind of have some little guidelines that we kind of have, like
The Uzuki Guide 101.
Yes.
And we should also mention that not every character is an Uzuki by name. So we're not just going to go with like Citan and Jen. We're not just doing that.
Exactly. Yeah, they have to kind of have these qualities about them, which sometimes some characters don't have the same qualities, but kind of still fit into that Uzuki mold. And
we're excluding characters who may have the Uzuki name but not the tropes.
Exactly. We probably won't be talking about Xion that much.
Yeah, no Xion in this episode.
Go listen to our Xion episode if you want to hear about Xion.
Yep.
Old episode. Anyway. Alright, yeah, so for the most part, an Uzuki character is usually, not always, but sometimes is a mentor-type figure that kind of knows more about the world than the protagonist of each game knows. They know more, but sometimes, they aren't forthcoming with that knowledge. They just refuse to elaborate until they're kind of in the situation where they have to. And can sometimes be annoying. Can sometimes
lead to people eating canned people food.
Yeah. Could have been nice about that, but no, just kept that knowledge to yourself. Okay. And they can be antagonistic at times, but they're ultimately, for the most part, they are on the side of the protagonist. So they're sometimes almost like a double agent kind of, but they still, are with the protagonist or their friends, or sometimes they're not friends. Actually, sometimes they're not friends, but for the most part. And then sometimes they actually get a cool rival, which is nice, and people probably ship them.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other details or anything that you guys want to comment on this Uzuki trope?
I think it's pretty clear, and we'll probably go more into details as we get to characters.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is just to establish what...
Establish 101 on what we go on. With,
exactly.
What is Uzuki or not Uzuki.
The only thing I'll add is just on the antagonistic point, you'll notice as time goes on, we kind of twist that idea a little bit of less directly antagonistic as an entity, but still being some sort of conflict with either the morals of the characters or the story at times. So I think that's kind of interesting as well, how they evolve that.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, before we get started, I'll just shout out to Robin for making this Uzuki table. Yeah,
Table,
it's a really good. I'll try to put a picture of it in the episode video, but it's just great. So thank you, Robin. We love you.
Yes, we love you.
All right, so yeah, let's get started with the very beginning. The person who created the Uzuki trope, and that is Citan Uzuki from Xenogears. He pretty much embodies everything it needs to be an Uzuki.
Yep.
Yeah, he knows more than he lets on, and doesn't always tell people about it, and he can be antagonistic. I mean, he's at one point he does kind of betray the party, but yeah. What do we? Well, I know we have a Citan episode, but that was so long ago. And what do we think about Citan?
He's a smug bastard.
Yeah,
But a great
that
fighter.
would describe it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably one of the most interesting characters in the protagonist party, but I have trouble with staying trained on protagonists. So, like, the fact that he had some, I guess, scuffs on his like good boy points just was interesting to me. So for people who haven't played Xenogears, Citan is like the second person that you get in your party. He kind of has the air of like Doc Brown and Marty McFly, and even Faye calls him Doc,
Yeah.
and he's sort of like Citan lives on a hill with his wife and child, and people come to him because he's the village doctor.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small town situation, and you find out later that he is a fucking spy, working directly for the Solarian Emperor, to see whether or not Faye needs to be killed. Do I have my facts right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
So Citan is hanging out here with this. I actually think Uzuki is not even his real name.
Correct. Yeah.
His real name is Hyuga Rikdo. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing things correctly.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah. But yeah, he's basically huddled in this corner watching Faye to see if he turns into it again, and if he does, he's supposed to like. I actually don't know what he's supposed to do.
I think
What?
for the most part, he's observing how things are going and not really doing much, but he's giving reports or something. Like, it's been so long since I told Xenogears, so...
Yeah, every so often he reports in like
Yeah.
calling Orson, come in Orson.
But yeah,
Probably
ultimately he seems to be still fairly attached to Faye. Like, he doesn't seem... Like we said, like, he's a bit, like, not quite on his side while also being on his side. You know, it's just, you know, because he's observing him and reporting him, but at the same time, he's helping him out of some situations so often. Like, he doesn't want Faye to necessarily, you know, die.
He's a watcher.
Yeah, he's a watcher.
And
much so.
actually, like, that could even be another criteria that we didn't list, is that whether or not they're motivated by their desire to just simply watch, because a lot of the characters we're going to look at kind of do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes they get into action, but a lot of the time they'll watch. But yeah, Citan is an interesting character for sure. I did enjoy him a lot, even if sometimes it was like, oh, you bastard.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
I did think that he was interesting. If anything, I wish, like, from what I remember of Xenogears, like, I wish there were some things that had been, you know, more explained on the surface about him and stuff like that, but at the same time, like, I feel like they could have polished him even more, is what I'm trying to get at, but still, he's a very interesting character.
Yeah, and they could have definitely went more on his, wife and kid, but
Yeah.
Yeah, the wife and kid are just, like, showed barely, and then just like, well, that was it. We'll never see them again. Goodbye.
Well, here's the thing, the tidbit about how Citan and his wife met. They were opposing operatives, and I believe Yui was working for Shivat, and Citan was working for Solaris, and they so that's all we know. And somehow they ended up with a 4-year-old child who doesn't talk. So my guess is that they met, they clashed, something happened, and now they're in love? ? I guess. But there is so little on Yui that you kind of have to put it together for yourself. And if you're very interested in Citan and you like to represent yourself in fiction as a female aspected character, there you go.
Yeah, she sounds really cool, but of course we didn't actually get to see the.
Yeah,
cool
that's another
things
thing.
happen.
I wish we would have gotten a bit more story on that, but at the same time, they had so much to cover because they were so ambitious with this project.
Yeah. Oh, I guess another Uzuki thing that I would maybe add, because Citan at one point does get access to a sword. Sword does seem like a common theme. But not.
Oh yeah.
But not always. Not always.
Not
but,
always, but fairly often they're swordmen.
Yeah, but also, I mean, and I thought about that as well. But there are plenty of sword users throughout this series that do not have the Uzuki trope.
That is true.
So
that is true.
Yeah, that's it. A lot of them tend to have katana at some point.
Yeah, it's specifically the Japanese style sword.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that kind of leads into our next Uzuki, and it's one that's actually, his real name is Uzuki, and that is Jin Uzuki from Xenosaga. Oh.
Yeah,
Uzuki!
Yeah.
The one that Margulis screams about all the time.
Yeah, probably the more auditory originator of the trope.
He became the meme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian Margulis became the meme.
Yes, and this is where he does have a rival, who screams his name. But yeah, Jin he's a little bit different. I mean, he is different than Citan. He is, keeping his facts to himself because he is like a Federation soldier, so he kind of knows some things, like secret information that he doesn't always tell everybody as well. He's a little bit less antagonistic towards the party, except his sister, but I don't think too bad.
To be honest, I don't think it's too bad, and if anything, the two of them have a bit of an history of arguing about some things, and it just they have things that have not patched up through the games, and it eventually gets better, but it, of course, at first, he's giving Xion a bit of a hard time, but Xion is also giving him very much a hard time.
I actually like how Jin contrasts Citan, and that for one, there's a lot of distance between him and the main character, as opposed to in Xenogears, where you're kind of led to believe that Citan and Faye are close, whereas in Xenosaga, despite the fact that they're siblings, there's clearly a lot of distance between the two of them. And that's further emphasized by the fact that you barely even see Jin in the first game. Actually, I don't even think, do you even see him? Because I know there's that one cutscene
see him in the call.
Yeah.
Oh, we see him in the call.
Yeah, and the ending cutscene.
He has a wildly different voice too.
Very, very, very slightly so. When you do.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I wasn't. I didn't remember if we actually saw him in the call, but I know we had the call with him. But you barely even see him in the first Xenosaga.
You see a very static image of him in the call, and you see him actually in 3D in the ending.
Yeah. And then in Xenosaga 2, they go all in with him. You're seeing this guy right from the get-go. You're even seeing him. So, I think that's especially interesting. Is all right, we're gonna flip this on its head, where we're gonna have somebody that is more distant towards the main protagonist. We're not even gonna really show you him till much later in the game, or in the story rather.
Right, and he does come off as a direct reference to Citan Uzuki. Like
100%.
He looks very similar, and even like in Xenosaga 3, like they gave him an outfit that's literally Citan.
Yeah, and I remember seeing a brief clip of Citan's outfit in Xenosaga 3. And for a second, not Citan, it's Jin. And for a second, I thought it was Citan. Like, I didn't read the screen. I just saw a brief clip and I was like, oh shit, Citan's back in this game? But no, it's just Jin.
It's just Jin having a cosplaying Citan.
Yeah, because I didn't read the text on screen. I just saw, like, the motto. I was like, oh shit, that's what that is. And like, no.
So this isn't on the doc, but I was just kind of thinking over this, but would Chaos kind of fall into a lot of these categories? But I mean, I'm not saying he is Uzuki, but I feel like he does fit into.
He kind of does, because he kind of knows. He's very much I'm close to the protag, and I know a lot of shit, but I'm not saying any shit. Oh yeah, things happen magically. Oh, it's okay. Everyone,
don't worry about it.
Everyone has something they excel at. We're good.
So I'm gonna say, I think Chaos definitely fits. We didn't put this on here, but I think Chaos definitely fits that Watcher aspect of the Uzuki. Because, and I know we've said this in previous episodes, where like for quite a bit of Xenosaga, Chaos, while he's with the party, we're not really learning much about him. He's just kind of observing everything going on.
Yeah, he's observing, and like he's also a very good listener too. You know, like he will help when people needs help, like, you know, but he's mostly like a watcher, and there's a lot of things that he keeps to himself and doesn't really tell the group. So yeah.
Yeah.
But do we think Chaos is a mentor?
I wouldn't say mentor, but at the same time, like, he does look out for the group, in the sense that if they have like troubles, they often come to him to ask for, you know, what you think I should do, or just they're just start like telling him all their worries. So, like, maybe not fully a mentor, but maybe like, you know, he would still be a very much like support role, kind of like where
he's the mom friend.
Yeah, he's like the mom / big bro friend, like, but mostly I guess more the mom friend is almost. Yeah, he takes care of the group.
It's true.
And also, with how the Elsa goes, like, you just watch how the Elsa acts, like, they're all a bunch of dudes, like, all bickering constantly, and you just have Chaos calming the entire room in 5 seconds.
He does have a calming effect.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then we can move on, where it kind of gets a little less direct than with what Xenosaga did. But we can move on to the first Xenoblade. So, yeah. So there's a few characters in here that I'm like, they could be Uzuki coded, and the one that's like number one that shoots up in my mind, of probably a lot of people's minds, is Dunban.
That's Dunban over there!
Yeah.
Dunban!
Yeah, I mean, he has long black hair, has the swords, he's a mentor figure, he's got a cool rival. He's very much a watcher as well. You meet him early on, so he's kind of has that early relationship with the protagonist. He knows more about the world than Shulk does, doesn't elaborate, and he's not, but unlike, say, Citan, he's not really an antagonist. Like, Dunban is pretty much on your side most of the game. I can't think of a time where Dunban truly is against Shulk, other than that one scene people like to make fun of Shulk for, where when he's trying to get rid of Metal Face, but but even then, I don't even know if I'd count that.
Yeah, I feel like the Uzuki, I'm not telling you everything / a little bit of betrayal as a treat may have seeped into Dixon instead, because it was Dixon who kind of raised Shulk and was watching him for signs of Zanza, I think. But that's all we got through that avenue.
I would say Dixon was a bit of the watcher, but like in the way that Citan was a watcher, where it was just like, oh, I'm watching the boy, and I'm just like reporting or trying to see if they're it'll revive as like my boss.
Yeah,
it's almost kind of interesting because it's like they took Citan and Jin, right, and they kind of split them up between Dunban and Dixon. So like Dunban embodies most of the positive aspects of the quote unquote Uzuki trope, whereas Dixon has some of the more negative ones.
Exactly. Okay.
And then we also wrote over here, somebody put that Fiora can be said to be an Uzuki by relation to Dunban, but overall Fiora doesn't really meet the trope.
Right. Yeah, she's more of like the Shion equivalent.
Like at most, if I'm gonna stretch this, is maybe like you could argue that when Fiora gets like the mechanical body, she's kind of watching, but through Maineth, but but that's me stretching.
I mean, that's not a bad idea there. She is kind of observing with and reporting back to
I saw Chris put this in the chat. Do we want to talk about Alvis?
Oh damn, yeah.
Oh
Alvis.
right, yeah. Because if we bring up Chaos, Alvis kind of.
If we bring in Chaos, we kind of have to bring Alvis because they're very similar.
But Alvis might be even more so similar to the Uzuki trope than Chaos.
If you think about it, Alvis actually somewhat does a betrayal, even if he's still on their side by the end. He does still follow through, especially in a cinematic way, with a betrayal of the party alongside of Dixon.
Yeah.
That's true.
And is also the observer, technically. And actually kind of fulfills the mentor role when you think about it, because he does actually kind of offer that to Shulk throughout multiple points of the story.
Yeah, and he can't use a sword, he can't use a Monado.
True.
Yep.
Yeah, very good points.
This is only being brought up now because, to an extent, they're kind of the same character, but I guess that would also mean that A would also count in that in the future.
Yeah, when we get to that, we can add A as well, I guess.
All right. Okay, then let's move on to Xenoblade X, which I don't know if I'll have this up before the definitive edition comes out, but woo, definitive edition.
Definitive edition.
Yeah, this is being recorded. Full transparency, folks. This is being recorded just before definitive edition drops. It's out in like 4 days. So
yes,
woo. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
So if you're like new to Xenoblade X, you might want to skip this part. But anyway, so yeah, another kind of. I mean, yeah, this one seems a little obvious as well, but Lao can kind of be seen as the Uzuki trope for Xenoblade X.
Yeah, didn't he also lose a wife and daughter that he's mad about?
Yes.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that's like his whole thing. He was promised they would get out for his military service, and they were completely left on Earth.
Yeah, so you can understand why he basically betrays the part. Well, he betrays the party, he betrays humanity, and
yeah, he does.
You understand why. He isn't much of a mentor, or I need to definitely replay this. I mean, I'll have a good excuse to replay it, but go on, Kat.
Yeah, there's slight Mumcar vibes in Doug's design as well. So if you want to look there, slight Mumcar vibes, which also means slight Margulis vibes.
and they are friends, but I guess they do become somewhat rivals in the end.
Yeah,
there.
when Lao does his heel turn, I don't think Doug emotes, or rather, I don't recall Doug emoting as a proper rival would.
Yeah, I know he was very upset by it though, but understandable. Your friend just betrayed you.
I do love how the rivals tend to go from protagonistic, antagonistic, protagonistic.
Well, someone that might be seen as more of a mentor and still fits this trope is Elma. Oh, she's great.
Always
I
great.
love her.
Yes, she's very
Yeah,
cool.
y'all already know by now we are heavily biased towards Alma on this.
She can gaslight us
podcast.
all she wants. It's fine.
Pretty
Exactly.
Like us. I don't think she would though. She's still fairly nice to people.
Yeah, but she definitely knows more than she's letting on. And
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. She's not elaborating on some things for sure.
My actual theory is she's known what the something about this planet is this entire time, and it was just leading us on even with the conclusion to X, but I guess we'll find out soon enough.
This is true. This is
We'll
true.
find out. Yeah, I don't know what else to add about these two. I'm also not quite like the Xenoblade X expert.
Well, I feel like part of it, we haven't really got the full X experience. I mean, one, we're getting more story content soon, but also,
True.
I mean, even from the start, I feel like we've always felt like, oh, I mean, X also ends with a cliffhanger. There's more to come. These characters aren't even finished yet. We don't even have half of the answers. So it's interesting to talk about, but it's kind of hard to talk about a lot because, I mean,
This is
we're
true.
still waiting on the rest.
That is true.
And that's assuming we even get those answers.
Yeah. We shall see very soon. Well, it's going to take me a long ass time to get to the new story,
Yeah.
probably, but
It's something about this definitive edition.
Something about this definitive edition.
To be continued when we probably have like a review or something when we all discuss the game.
Or we could have a Lao episode.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap. I'm sorry.
I
missed it.
didn't know if you were joking or not. But we did. We did. Well, I mean, we could. I mean, with how things, we might have a part 2. You never know.
I was gonna say, like, it does seem like they're gonna be expanding a little bit on him. So
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
you guys could do a part 2.
well, we might have more to say about Lau and Elma for that matter.
I might be
so.
too slow to finish Xenoblade X if I finish it this time.
I believe in
I'll
you.
let you guys do it. With the quality of life stuff, I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen this time. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's only gonna be my 3rd time trying.
You've got this.
I've got this.
All right. Okay, so then let's move on to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There is literally a character named Jin that fits a lot of these, but also he is more, I mean, he's
he is quite antagonistic at the start.
Yeah.
Also,
and even if true the story for a while, he kind of is.
Also, Jin is a localization.
Right.
His Japanese name is Jin.
Is it Gin or is it?
Isn't it Shin?
I thought it was.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sheen.
Sorry, I can't pronounce anything.
No, it's all right.
Like, let me fact check that real quick. I think it
thank you.
was. Let me see. Yeah, it is Shin.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I wonder if. Well, they made a lot of changes, so I
played in Japanese with the Japanese voices, and I didn't even remember that.
I mean, Shin, Jin are kind of close.
Yeah, they kind of sound similar, so like my brain probably just.
There was just somebody at Nintendo America that was like, "This seems like Jin Uzuki or Citan Uzuki. I'm just going to change his name to Jin to make it." No, I don't know.
Besides one character later on, he's probably the most destructive of any of the characters on this list. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was supposed to be like a reference, but still like a slight play on the destructive aspect more than anything, since Shin is a lot more associated with like death and misfortune and so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, to be fair, like, he did go through a lot of shit and decided to go against the world pretty much in a way.
Listen, he's fine. You do what you want, buddy. It's fine.
Yes,
I can fix him.
I can make him worse.
I don't care if I can fix him.
Oh my god.
It's fine.
He's very pretty, so I forgive everything. It's okay.
Yeah. And yeah, he doesn't come off as much of a mentor in the base game, but I see, Kat, you said maybe you could say He was more of a mentor to Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit more so to Laura, but I will say, near the end, he does change a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of toward that. Like, he does give a couple advice to Rex, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Even if not, I think he still is honestly a pretty close reference to Jin's ending in Saga because they kind of go out in a similar way.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Good
He also
point.
has a katana, but his hair are white, though, not black.
It's true. Okay. Well, okay, so someone who might also be considered and this will be more of a protagonistic Uzuki trope, would be Morag.
Morag, best girl.
It's Uzuki, but this time it's German.
I really like Morag. She's so cool, but also, yeah, she plays with those weird whip swords things, but it's still swords. She has the black hair. She is very much she's antagonistic at first, but then she joins and is very much like more of a mentor kind of / I'll protect the group. So yeah, and
it's kind of funny because like when she joins a group, that's kind of when she starts to become a watcher. She's like, no, I want to see what Rex does.
yeah, pretty much, because she seemed very interested about what he's gonna do, but also like because like the power that Rex has can be so dangerous. I feel like Morag is more there also as she's observing what what he's gonna do, but also like seeing if things go to shit. Like
kind of like with Citan,
kind of wants
Faye.
to be there to like stop it. Kind of, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, she doesn't really have a lot of moments where she doesn't elaborate. And I think really it's less that like it's not that she doesn't elaborate with the party. It's more like she just doesn't know.
Or people also the few things that she could know. It's not like people will necessarily ask her because she's keeping to herself in her in her corner unless she has to really say something. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else we could add about Morag.
All right. Then let's move on to Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and yeah, I guess In could possibly be considered an Uzuki, even though he's like, he's even. I mean, he does.
Yeah,
he's so.
He's a what if Uzuki went to shit and above shit and just became completely not so, I guess.
Like the worst trauma response that he could have had compared to every other one.
I guess like N is kind of like almost like a successor to Lao in some regards.
Yeah,
I guess so.
I see that.
He kind of lost everything,
I guess like, him, Jin, and N kind of follow that.
And try to revive / keep what you wanted, which was oh my god, I have a blank.
Oh no.
His wife. That's good. Anyways. So yeah, it's just he got back what he wanted in a sense, but at the same time he kinda lost it all again and just went
I think one thing with him and kind of Dunban as well, they kind of reference it, but especially Noah specifically, they're a lot more like aesthetic references than like character references. Like they definitely don't go down the same like traits or paths that they do, but at the same time you can very much tell what they're going for, especially like the way that Noah's art is posed. It's like, oh hey, you even have your sword sheath in the way that art is referencing from Jin. Okay, cool. And we just kind of move on and just accept it as facts, kind of.
So I was just gonna say, since you brought up Noah, do you think that Noah could actually fit this trope?
I don't know. Like
Noah is I'm the protagonist.
I mean, yes, but like
he's kind of why I said aesthetic.
Yes,
only.
but when you look at it from the perspective of other characters, though.
What were you gonna say, Kat?
I was grokked Noah's design as a closer reference to Faye, so I might be on the wrong side of this.
Oh, okay.
I know, but I'm mostly just thinking in the respect of like Noah is he definitely kind of comes off like a mentor to those like other characters within his colony, and like he's definitely somebody who is privy to the way the world works more so than other people. And it seemed like they were kind of going. It seemed like his story was like he was realizing something that he didn't really know how to express to others. So like that kind of doesn't really elaborate because he doesn't know how to really express it, and other people just won't believe him. I don't know. That's just me thinking.
I think one thing with him, they kind of no one in the traits that one doesn't have that match this trope, the other one has. So like, Noah is not really the Eternal Watcher. But N is like the epitome of an eternal watcher over everything that is going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be another instance of was kind of split between like literally, and they're they're literally two sides of the same coin.
Yeah. Also, Kat, on your point about his design being like Fae, I had thought that at first until we then got Matthew, who is like a direct Fae thing.
Matthew is so Fae.
It's 100% there. So it's kind of, I don't know.
I have a disappointing confession.
Mm-hmm.
I quit Xenoblade 3 at, I guess, what the end of Chapter 4 is. So I don't know.
Oh, you're fine.
I mean, then again, Matthew and Noah and are kind of related in a weird way. So
yeah, they are.
They could be both.
They're all Uzukis.
Where's that? Ooh, hang on. I just had a thumbnail idea based on that. Y'all keep going.
Okay.
So the next character that we're going to talk about, this is one that I didn't even think of as an Uzuki, and so I think it's really interesting that they're here. I don't disagree. I just never thought of them as such, and that's Riku.
Yeah, I got those vibes from him. I know it might not be 100%, but he does he does have like some. He knows some stuff, and he does not elaborate a lot of the times. Like sometimes, like what was that side quest? He was like one of the like famous blacksmiths or something, and it was like, "Where's the last one?" I was like, "Oh, it's me." And I was like, only elaborates when it's relevant.
Yeah,
and then
mind you.
Oh, go on.
I was going to say, mind you, he lied even more because we didn't even know he was older than we thought he was until the DLC. Exactly. And he just shows up randomly in a cutscene that they show in a trailer for one shot.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, hi, what are you doing here?
Yeah, and then at one point he has a knowing nod to Melia at one point in the game, and it's like, what? You two know each other? Like, what is this?
Which, like, now that makes sense, but, like, at first it was like, oh, when did you go over to her? And then we got Futurity, and it's like, oh, okay. I'm not gonna say that's an easier answer, but I guess, okay, you do you, Riku, do whatever you want.
But yeah, I thought, especially for, like, one of the Nopon mascot characters, I thought he was very interesting, and he's actually probably one of my favorite characters.
But, he does a lot of things that Uzukis do, and he does have a bit of the mentor kind of thing, because, like, there's multiple times that he does kind of mentor, like, Noah.
Mm-hmm. I'd say he's way more of a mentor from even his first introduction, to be honest. He is basically a mentor for the three Kebas party members.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Okay.
But yeah, he helps out the group a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He's very much a watcher as well. He knows about Lucky 7 and all that, so
yep.
He knows a lot more than what he lets on. So yeah, I'd say Riku definitely fits.
Mm-hmm.
What is Lucky 7?
The blade that Noah has.
Oh, okay. Is that the one that we get earlier on in the game?
Yes, that is the non-spoilery way to talk about it.
Okay, cool.
There's a lot to say about Lucky 7, stuff that's not even in the game, by the way.
I'll talk.
Don't get us started on that.
Yeah, let's not. Anyway, so this isn't one that I like with Riku and Justin. I wasn't certain about this one, but this, I mean, it does make sense. So Ashira could also be part of the Uzuki trope.
Yeah, sure.
This is where I also get to bring up my lovely theory, which I've seen is relatively popular, but the idea that if Dunban is an Uzuki, naturally, people have wondered since we got the game, like, who is Noah's dad? And without going into spoilers for who people think the mom is, because I'm not trying to ruin your experience, Kat, a lot of people kind of default on Dunban since they're kind of the same. But then at the same time, Ashera really fits a lot of those traits way more than even Noah and combined do in certain aspects, especially with the visual flares, because she is very much closer to the Dunban aspect than them, but she also fulfills a little more of that role at the same time. I don't know. She's kind of interesting in that way.
Yeah, Shara was pretty cool. I really enjoyed her whole character arc, even if it's a bit far of my memory now, but...
Also,
she even has a rival in uni.
Don't worry about spoilers. I threw away my I care about spoilers card when I heard about things from the DLC, so don't worry.
Oh, good.
Yeah. She's a very interesting character. So I guess we mentioned Alvis earlier, so I guess we should bring up him and A.
We could bring A from the DLC because A is very much it's very much like Alvis.
Yeah.
Aren't they part of Alvis? Aren't they?
So specifically, A is the repressed personality of Alvis that disappeared when the ending of 1 happened, and basically the Alvis personality kind of went away, and basically just the core existed. When it resummoned and became the antagonist of Future Redeemed, A split off from that. So it is Alvis, but it's also not Alvis. But it is also basically Alvis.
So I know this is like the blind leading the blind in opposite direction. That's kind of like how we got Graph in Xenogears.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, also, even past that, and I guess this is still related to Xenoblade 3, I mean, am I wrong in saying that well, no, I am wrong. I was going to compare it to N, but they come about in different ways, even if a similar, like, triggering point. So yeah, no, not really.
Alright.
Well,
Dang,
we went through this list rather
wow,
fast.
I guess we went too fast.
Hey, easy episode to edit.
I think we're all tired. We did not ramble as much as usual.
We're tired. We're ready for Xenoblade X Definitive Edition.
Xenoblade X!
Well, is there any other characters or things you got? Do you guys like the Uzuki trope?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course we like it.
And
of course, my favorite one will always be the rival of Margulis.
Oh yeah, who is your favorite Uzuki trope character?
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm going with Citan because I started this ride at OG.
I think for me, probably Dixon. I think they honestly do the surprise of it the best, and I think that really helps pay off his character.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. But I am very biased towards agility tanks, so it's going to be either Dunban and Morag, but I'm going to go with Morag because I quite like her.
Morag is really cool. I think it's just like I love the meme of like Margulis and Jin a lot, but like in terms of characters in all of this list, for sure, like Morag would also be one of my fave because like she's so fucking cool.
Yeah, she really is.
That
like easily one of the coolest characters in the whole franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
she's
so
really
badass.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, this is a very tough question. Why did I even ask it? Because I don't know. Gosh, I might lean more towards Citan, but I don't know.
You know you want to say Elma.
That I was just about to say, or Elma. Thank you.
As you guys have kept talking, I'm going to say it's probably Elma, but that could change with Definitive Edition. She could go higher on that list. She could go lower depending on what they do with her.
But
true. I think it's actually Elma because Elma's also cheating and she's kind of Cosmos, so I get to say that either way.
This is true.
Yeah. No, Elma's awesome.
Kind of has a bit of the Cosmos thing.
Cosmos Uzuki, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like considering who built Cosmos, yeah. That it makes 1,000% sense that would be her real name.
Yeah. Well, are there any other last thoughts you have on the Uzuki trope, or
I'm not sure.
should they continue it with future Xenoblade games? And I say yes, of course.
I think so.
Please.
I think so. It's fun to have a little bit of Uzuki in a sprinkle in our Xeno games.
Mhm.
I think at this point, I mean, we're reaching the point where look at our list. We started with one character, and we've been increasing each game having the amount of characters that fit that trope. I think it's here to stay. I think they've liked using it for that,
Yeah,
especially in the past 2 major titles that we've had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking at like our little like true false chart here,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting that like no 2 Uzukis are exactly the same.
Yeah, they're all
There's a
their
lot of
own
variation.
characters, but they all have
Actually, no, that's not true.
similarities.
Lao and Jin are exactly the same according to this chart. Welp. And actually
Yes,
N as
Jin.
well. Wait, yeah. Lao, Jin, and N.
It's why they're the 3 best written villains in the series, and that's why I'll end this conversation there.
But yeah. I like that like there's little spins on it here and there. Keeps things fresh, and I like that.
Yeah. The Uzuki trope is a nice spice for the Xeno series. Nice spice.
They had some Uzuki in their recipe every time.
Uh-huh. Gotta have that
Complete-
Uzuki on the recipe every time.
Yeah.
A bit unrelated, but I just realized Dixon doesn't have the typical sword you see, but he does have a gunblade, which is also like the only gunblade in the series. But that also kind of adds him even more credence to that.
Yeah.
It's too bad that you can only play as Dunban like once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like Alvis. You can only technically like use Alvis once, and even then I think it was like you had to do it in a chain attack or something.
You can pay $90 for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and its future redeemed expansion pass and play as Alvis again for more than one battle.
Touche.
Yeah. I wish we had Elvis a bit more. Sage.
Yeah. But A was pretty cool to play as.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's fantastic
was cool.
in that game.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess if that's it, we'll wrap things up.
So short.
Sorry.
What happened?
I'm
I was
so
surprised.
Yeah, usually we have like
Yeah.
2-3 hour episodes. Like what did
It's
we
so
do?
funny. It's so funny because like before the episode, we were all like, "Okay, we're just gonna hard stop at 6 p.m." And it's just like,
It's
like-
Oh, that's why I was
"No,
like,
it's
are you
4."
sure? I saw the doc and I was like, it's not going to be that long. This is actually...
I just know we
slightly longer than
ramble.
I expected.
Cosmos, do not underestimate this group's ability to ramble.
We-
I remember. I'm usually the proponent for that. I'm usually the cause of it.
We were just laser focused today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess we'll go around and say what we're up to. Justin, what are you up to? What you playing?
So, yeah. So I've been playing through a couple things. I've been playing through Dramatical Murder.
Oh, yeah.
I've-
Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
that's
You had to publicly
time.
announce that, huh?
yeah. I mean, y'all can judge me. I don't care.
It's okay, I've played it before. I'm not gonna judge.
Yeah, so I've been playing that on stream. We just finished Potful Mail. We're still playing some more East. Plan on starting Final Fantasy 12 in the near future, along with Mega Man Star Force. So look forward to those streams on Retro Roulette.
Your
I've
pop.
also on the side been playing Atelier Esca and Logi. I'm almost done with it. Basically, just trying to like get through some games before the behemoth that is Xenoblade Cross comes out in a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that game is going to consume our lives at least for a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll see what wins between Trails and Xenoblade X. I think they're gonna try and like fight for their life for me.
Well, what's nice is that remember Xenoblade Cross is on the Switch, and Xenoblade Cross is one of those games that where you can actually like get a lot of benefit of just leaving the game on. So yeah, you can farm a lot of Mira just by kind of leaving the game on and just put it in handheld modes.
I
Put it on
forgot
your
about
desk.
that. But yeah, it's
Exactly.
true.
Turn it on, put it on your desk, and then you could farm while you're playing Trails.
Oh yeah.
Dual wield
Just
games.
slowly solving my future problems.
Exactly.
All right. Well, what about you, Marie? What are you up to?
Well, on stream, I am currently going through Tokyo Xanadu. We're getting kind of closer to the end, but not quite yet because Falcom and you're getting close to the end, but not really. And
Yeah.
and on the that's usually the Friday game, and on the Sunday game, I'm on Terra Enigma, which is a more retro title, but like it was recommended to me since I like Ys and stuff, and so far I am very impressed with that game. It's been cool. And outside of that, I'm mostly playing a lot of Trails. In fact, like I'm in the final chapter of Reverie, and that final chapter is going on forever. I don't know how much longer of it I'm gonna be in. And I know there's an epilogue too, so I'm just like, god damn it. So I'm definitely not finishing it before Xenoblade comes out, so that's why I'm like, they're gonna fight each other. But yeah, I'm playing that. I'm basically trying to catch up on Trails a lot, so I'm playing a lot of that. But sometimes I also started recently another game which it's a bit more low maintenance. It's a Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. What I do like about this game is that I can kind of just pick it up, do a mission, and just leave after. Like I don't have to do a long-term commitment. So when I feel like playing something very quick, I go into that. I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool, and then I leave. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm up to. Of course, when Xenoblade comes out, I'm also gonna play Xenoblade. So
Of course.
yeah.
Nice. How about you,
yeah.
Kurt? Oh, go on. Sorry.
I do plan. I don't know when this episode comes out, but I do plan on streaming the beginning of Xenoblade on release day and on the 21 because yeah.
Good. Nice. All right. How about you, Chris?
I have been playing Monster Hunter nonstop since that launched. However, I probably will be dropping that Wednesday night because I found out it's Wednesday night at midnight Eastern time that it's coming out. I will probably be dropping that. I'm actually I'm debating if I want to do this because it is irresponsible. I kind of want to sleep through my day off on Wednesday and then play Wednesday night into Thursday morning and go to work after. We'll see. It's a dangerous game, but also I'll do it for Alma potentially. We'll see.
Can
you take an Uber or something to work?
No.
Can you bring the game with you to work?
Yes. But I'm not playing at work unless I'm on my lunch.
Responsible.
Drive safe.
Yeah, be safe if you do that.
Be safe, please.
No, I will.
We love you.
I mean, I would be midnight to 8 the next day. It's okay, straight to bed. Good night. I would just be moving my sleep schedule. I would not be sleep deprived at the very least.
Okay.
But I've done it in the past for a Xenoblade game. Unfortunately, I probably will do it again. I'm not very responsible with that.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, work exists and I can't play Xenoblade for 10 days in a row. But if I could beat Xenoblade 3 within a week while working full time, I can probably find a way to beat this game relatively quick. Oh lord, that's not the greatest thing for me to say out loud that I've done, but it's okay. Yeah, so mostly just Xenoblade X and Monster Hunter.
Okay, well, good luck.
Good luck.
All right, how about you, Kat?
Let's see. My oven broke, but that means we had an excuse to get an air fryer. So now I have an air fryer. I'm unstoppable now.
Uncontrollable, maybe?
You have too much power. Oh.
Uncontrollable. We're gonna start the music.
The air fryer blows hard in March, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't been doing too much else. I just beat Final Fantasy III Pixel Remaster.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a nice this is what built the grounds for FF5 and possibly Tactics. But yeah, the I got a ROM of the Nintendo cartridge, not translated a whole lot, and the Nintendo music slaps so hard. I really want an album of mashups from rap songs to Final Fantasy III tracks.
That sounds cool.
So hype. I also, over the break, beat Disgaea DS on my phone with a bunch of cheats activated, so I got to see much more of the game than I usually do, rather than previous Disgaea runs. And basically, I'm trying to do more art, get more organized, because social media sucks, and I killed all of my old social media accounts, and now I'm just trying to rebuild my website and maybe Blue Sky a little bit.
Okay. Would you be willing? You don't have to, but do you want me to put your website or in the show?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just haylight.style now.
All right. Cool. You are an amazing artist, so thank you.
Thank you.
Well, as for me, I did beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth the other day, and it took me 117 hours, and I still didn't do everything, and that game's a lot. Like, it's a little over. It was overwhelming, but I enjoyed it overall. Definitely still stewing on that ending, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Otherwise, I've just been juggling a bunch of different games. And I recently started a new job, and that's going. It's going. And yeah, I know I need to get back to working on some of my other projects. But I don't know. It's been...
It's all good. No pressure.
Yeah.
Those projects are more for fun, so
yeah,
do them when you can.
Yeah. I'll get back to them, but it can be a lot sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
With real life and stuff, it gets like sometimes we want to do so many projects, but like the time or the energy or both is not there.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining me for this episode, and everyone for listening, and have a good night. And Xenoblade X Definitive Edition, go buy it.
Yes.
Yes.
Reloaded.
I have no excuse anymore.
Take care.